Hello, I'm Catherine and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if this is a return visit. So today I thought we would do a little bit of an experiment on a product that has gone viral on TikTok, and that is this KVD. It is called the Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation Balm. That's quite a name, isn't it? It's beautiful packaging, and you can see that this is the foundation, and it is literally just like a balm. It's almost like a concealer, but in a bigger container. So today I'm going to tell you about this foundation and we're going to be applying it, but I also want to be trying out one of the dupes that I've heard about that has also gone viral, and that is from Covergirl, and I just picked this up at the drugstore at CVS. This is the, also a very long name, the Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Defying Foundation. So this is what this one looks like. Kind of has a swirl. I've messed up a little bit of the swirl swatching it. So what I thought I would do is do half of my face with the KVD and then half of my face with the Covergirl, and then we're going to test it all day long. But before we start, let me tell you a little bit about each foundation. So the KVD Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation Balm sells for $38, and you get 0.35 ounces in this little compact. It is fast, lightweight. There are 40 shades. Gives a fresh matte finish. And what a fresh matte finish is, and their definition is not dewy, not flat, but just right. So they're saying it's like the Goldilocks of foundations. It is high performance, buildable full coverage, lasts all day, non-cakey, flashback free. It is infused with apple extract, and it is a vegan formula. It's also infused with hyaluronic acid, which hydrates, and they say it is best for normal to dry skin. So this sounds like it could be a good foundation, right, for more mature skin. We'll see. They say how to use it is either use a beauty sponge or a dense brush, and you can use a patting motion for the fullest coverage, or use a finger just to spot conceal on your face. So that is the KVD. The Covergirl varies in price, obviously from drugstore to drugstore, but it's anywhere from $10 to $15, depending on where you buy it and if it's on sale and so forth. And you get 0.4 ounces of product. So just a little touch more than you get in the KVD, but of course it's a lot less expensive. This one says it is youthful looking. It is actually made for mature skin. We'll see. It also has hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. It is supposed to float over lines and wrinkles, and SPF of 28, which the other one has no SPF in it, and it only has 11 shades. So those are the differences in the two formulas, and we are going to see, I'm going to swatch these for you to start. In the Good Apple, I have the shade Light 0110. So I'm going to swatch this just on my hand to give you an idea. That is the shade that I have. Very, very creamy. And then I'm going to shade, and hopefully it's somewhat close, because if not, I'm gonna look pretty ridiculous. In the Covergirl, I have shade 210 Classic Ivory. A little bit drier formula. So this is the Covergirl, and this is the KVD. Close enough. Hopefully I'm not going to look too crazy. But we're going to go ahead and apply these. They have a definite, you can see the difference in the sheen. The KVD has a lot more of a glow to it than the Covergirl did. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready to apply. Okay, to start off, I wanted to let you know that I used the Tarte Base Tape Double Duty Primer all over on both sides of my face. So that will be the same. Everything will be the same except for the two foundations. And I have two of these Morphe 2 dense brushes. So I'm going to use one for the KVD and one for the Covergirl, so there's no mixing and matching. And I have one sponge if I need it for something, but I'm not going to use that for application. So I'm going to start off with the KVD. And I'm just going to go right in. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to need to use my mirror to help with this. So actually, I'm going to bring you in so you can see. So make sure you can see here on my skin exactly what we're covering up. And I'm just going to swipe and see what we got. Wow. Look at that. That's full coverage. That is definitely full coverage. People have compared this to kind of, oops, hair. Have compared this to like the old stage makeup, like the pancake makeup, except for not drying. So we shall see what happens. But this is 100% full coverage. You can see that I have not had to dip back in at all, and it has blanked out my skin. I'm going to see if I even need to. I might go in a little bit more just for the forehead, but ooh, you don't even really need to do that, do you? I mean, you could use this as your concealer as well. I mean, this is very, very full. But I will say, as I'm putting it on, it's gliding on nicely. And it doesn't feel heavy. At all. I'm just going to bring that down this part of my neck. Doesn't feel dry. It does feel like it's settling in. Do you see my little mouth wrinkles? It feels really not oily, but kind of on the skin. It's a different consistency than I thought it was going to be. I mean, 100% hydrating, but I'm wondering if it's a little too hydrating. I actually am going to take this sponge and just kind of go over this and see if I can kind of get it to settle. I don't know. I want to let you see this. It feels like it is settling right in here on that wrinkle. We shall see. So this definitely looks different. One side of my face, you can see this is the KVD, and this has nothing on it at all. Okay, I barely needed any of it. And now we're gonna go into this Covergirl. The Covergirl and Olay, Simply Ageless. So I'm gonna dip into that. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did so we can see the coverage here. Just swipe. Okay, so we can see there is that coverage there. It's supposed to be that kind of coverage. And we're just gonna go over the other side. I don't think it's too bad of a match coverage-wise, I mean color-wise. I haven't had to go back in. I'm trying to think of how I can explain the way this one feels. It feels very similar, I'm gonna be honest. It really does have, it's not dry at all. It seems to be a little less coverage. Not a lot less, but a little less. Like I do feel like I need to go back in, whereas the other one, I don't even know if I needed to go back in. And this is seeming a little more natural on my skin. Okay, let me bring you in so you can see. So this one doesn't seem to be settling. Maybe a little here. It has a little bit more of a glow, I think, to it. Yeah, this one seems a little more matte than this one. You can see a little. You can see more of my skin coming through, and I can see my sunspot. So to be honest, I don't know if this one is quite as full of a coverage as this one is. So if you had a lot of like rosacea or something, then maybe this one wouldn't cover it. But the overall, you can see it. I don't feel like it's settling a little bit around my nose. And it feels similar to this. Not greasy, but definitely with some slip to it. This one settled down more. You can tell it's kind of seems a little bit more matte, whereas this one is a little bit, has a little bit more slip. I don't know if that makes sense. So that is the application of the two. Pretty similar. They feel pretty good. I don't think it looks too ridiculous. I don't think anybody would tell that I have each one on. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup, and then I'll come back and I'll let you see how that looks so that you'll know how to compare when I check in. And then I'm gonna check in 2 more times. One kind of middle of the day and then one late in the day. And we're gonna see how this wears, how it does under makeup, what we feel about it, and if we think these are good for normal to dry, mature skin. I'm not sure. We're going to see. They went on pretty well. They feel okay. I mean, I definitely feel them on my skin, if that makes sense. I'm going to put on my makeup and then I'll be back and let you see how that looks. So my makeup is on for the day, and I wanted to bring you in just so you can see, well, see if you can tell any difference in the way it is laying, the makeup is laying on it. I don't see anything too much. This one seems to be about the same. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I will say I do think in this area still I can see a little bit more cakiness. And then in this area, I don't see that. But I still see sunspots, and here they're totally gone. So this the KVD side seems more full coverage. So it could be an application problem that maybe I just put too much on right here, but I can see it settling in right there. And again, on the Covergirl side, I don't see that as much. I'm looking in my mirror and I'm just not seeing that. It just seems more cake, little bit, not a ton. It's not like it's very, very noticeable, but I can definitely see it a little bit. I do feel kind of shiny. I mean, I have put a highlight on, but I feel a little bit shiny, so I'm not quite sure what that is, but I will come back in, I don't know, 3-4 hours, and we'll see how it looks then, and I'll come back in at the end of the night. I'm back for my first check-in, so let's take a look. I mean, overall, I think it looks pretty good, but I'm going to bring you in so you can see. So this is the KVD side, and I'm going to I still see this is pretty pronounced right here. This, I think it's called like your labial folds or whatever. Those are pretty pronounced, and not as much on the other as we get there. It looks okay around the nose, maybe a touch dry there, but overall, really pretty good. You definitely can see my pores through here. This is a thicker foundation, for sure. We knew that from the get-go, okay? I'm having some issues with my mascara, which is interesting. I don't know if it's allergies, might be allergies. Okay, so let's look at the Covergirl side. This is not pronounced like the other side. And the nose is fine. Again, it's not quite as full of coverage, but overall looks pretty good. A little maybe on the nose seems to be gone, but for the most part, not bad. I will say so far, as I've like stopped and looked in the mirror to look at it, I like the finish of the Covergirl better, just overall, but this is more full coverage. So I will check back in at the end of the night, and we'll really see how it's worn. Again, I want to remind you, I don't touch up anything. The only thing I might touch up is put on a little bit more lip gloss or lipstick, but nothing on my face. And I'm not being careful, or I'm just doing my normal stuff that I would normally do. So yeah, I think definitely it's off on the nose. So maybe you'd need to powder your nose a little bit more. But on the cheeks, it looks pretty good. But like I said, I do feel like it's settled in right here and not here. And to me, that is the most telling part in this whole experiment. Okay, I'll be back later. Final check-in on these two foundations. I should actually do it this way because remember the KVD Good Apple Balm was on this side, and the Covergirl Ageless, Simply Ageless, was on this side. So let's take a look. Let's go in a little closer here. Here's the KVD. I'm going to be looking in my mirror. I mean, it's held up really well. It has not been drying at all, which is nice. I do think though, I feel like I would like to do a day of this all over the Covergirl and see if I felt like these wrinkles weren't as, these just seem more exaggerated to me. I mean, wrinkles, I've got them, but these just seem a little bit more exaggerated to me. It has pulled a little bit off of this sunspot because I hadn't seen that one. But all in all, it's had pretty good wear all day. Now let's flip over and look at the Covergirl side. I mean, I think this is worn better. I really do. I mean, on the nose, this feels a little bit more like I still have foundation on. This doesn't feel like I do as much, and it stayed the same consistency all day, and I don't see as much here. In fact, on their website, when they use the term, it kind of floats and blurs wrinkles, I feel like if you look straight on, maybe you can see this one looks more intensely wrinkled, and this one does look a little bit more blurred. I don't know. It's so hard to tell exactly, but I will say this is an interesting foundation, type of foundation to have in your collection. I personally don't think you need to spend the money on this. I think I would recommend going and getting this Covergirl because it is so similar. And I mean, at least half the price, maybe even less, depending on, you know, what kind of a sale you're having at like your Walgreens or your CVS or Target or wherever you're going to buy a Covergirl. I mean, it might even be the grocery store. So this is widely available. And I like the fact that this was actually made for more mature skin. I could feel the difference of that. And it does have a really nice, pliable feel that's not so moisturizing. It's not greasy feeling. This one felt a little bit more, it feels much more emollient. Not greasy, but kind of. A little bit oilier. Like there's more oil in it. And that's interesting because I would have almost thought it would have been this product. So my verdict on this would be to try out the Covergirl if you're interested in trying one of these Balm foundations. I think it's interesting to have, and I think you could actually just spot this wherever you might need a little coverage. You don't even necessarily need to put it all over your face. And it does double duty as a concealer. I definitely think that works. Like even here, I'm gonna try and I'll put a little under, and that immediately kind of spot corrects under the eye. It's almost like the NARS Creamy Concealer, the one in the pot, but this would be a nice foundation to have. Just, it would be actually pretty nice to travel with. When you just need a little bit more, you could just see, I mean, even with your finger, just spot correcting is kind of interesting. I did not do that at all today. I just kept on the initial application, but you can see my nose already looks better from just spot correcting and under my eyes. So that's my verdict. Interesting. I'm really glad I tried both of these. I think I'm glad to have them in my collection. If you were considering these, I would go with the Covergirl. I really would. I don't know that it's worth, this is that different. In fact, I actually liked this one better. So that's my verdict. Thank you so much for joining me on this day of looking at Balm foundations. Hope this was helpful. I would love for you to subscribe and join our family here. Hit that notification bell and then you'll be alerted anytime I post a new video or review. And if you are looking for more day-to-day content, then come join me over on Instagram. It's KZ Beauty Coach, and I do a Sunday Get Ready with Me every single week and try to keep you updated of things that are going on in the beauty skincare world. Hope you guys are doing well, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.